We received a notification through our GVI email that it's time for us to complete the next step in the evaluation process. Let's log in as Test Manager and check our tasks. We can see that a task has been assigned to Test Manager to complete the rating of Test Employee. Let's access the link and complete the step. The view is similar to the one that we saw earlier, but now we can rate the competencies. We can also note that the red circles on the left are there to let us know whether we completed all of the required steps. When we have successfully completed all the necessary steps for each section, the red circles will turn to green check marks, and the button labeled Submit Evaluation in the top right corner will change color from gray to green. When it turns green, we will be able to submit our rating. Let's start the rating process by clicking on the first core competency, which will take us to the rating screen for that competency. On the top left side of our screen, we will see the total rating score and a description of the overall rating. When we begin to rate our employee, the total rating score and description of the overall rating will automatically change based on our rating that we give to the employee. All ratings are scored on a 4-point rating scale, which we can see under the section titled Rating Scale. Below the total score and the overall rating is the name and definition of each competency and the weight that each competency has on the overall score. Each competency carries the same weight, but your rating for each competency will determine the score that the employee receives for that competency. Let's look at the 4-point rating scale located on the left side of the page. The rating scale for each competency is as follows. 1 is unsatisfactory, 2 means needs improvement, 3 means meet standards, and 4 means exceed standards. You can view a description of each score by clicking on the Show Descriptions link. This shows a description of each one. It's important to note that if you assign a rating of a 1, a 2, or a 4 on a competency, you will need to provide comments that support the ratings in the comment box. Comments are not required for a rating of 3 or meet standards. You will know that comments are necessary because the box will automatically have a red border. If anyone provides a rating of a 1, 2, or 4 on a competency without adding comments, they will not be able to complete the rating process. As a supervisor conducting a rating, you will have access to your employees' self-rating for their current and past evaluations and your journal entries. If you are a supervisor who is being evaluated, you can also access your past ratings and your journal entries. You can always search journal entries for submissions that you made about yourself, your employee, or those that were shared with you. If you find a journal entry that is relevant to the competency rating, you can use it as a guide to support your rating. All the information can be found on the right side of the page under Reviewer Entries, Journal Entries, or Check-in Entries. After you rate the competency, click Next to go to the next competency until you get to the section on Employee Narratives. This rule will be the same whether you are being rated as a supervisor or an employee. As a supervisor, you will complete the competencies and the supervisor competencies as well. If you need to pause the evaluation and continue later, you can do so by signing out of Perform. Perform automatically saves your progress. When you return, the task will be on your dashboard and you can continue with the evaluation. The employee narrative section is an opportunity for you or your employee to provide information on strengths, areas for improvements, and accomplishments. This section is different from the competency section because employee narratives are not rated, but comments are required for this step to be marked as complete. As a supervisor, you will have access to your employees' answers to the questions, and you are required to make comments about their responses. You will still have access to your journal entries, so you can also use them as a reference. If you complete this section under your supervisory evaluation, comments will be required for each question, and you will still have access to your journal entries. If you're unsure about whether you provided a submission for a competency or a narrative, you can always go back to the employee rating page and see whether or not anything was missed or any item is listed as complete. Here we can see that future SMART goals are still incomplete. So the last item in the rating step will be the future goals section. Managers are required to assign at least one future goal to their employee. We recommend that future goals are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound, SMART goals. Perform has examples of future goals that you can utilize, or you can create your own future goals for your employee. You can access them by clicking Add Item, and you can either create a new goal, or you can select one from the library that we have created. Here, we're going to select a training and development goal and save to utilize that one. It automatically adds it to the library. After we have successfully provided responses to each item in the rating process, we can now go to the overall rating. The overall rating will show us the overall calculation for either the 19 core competencies or the 19 core competencies and 6 supervisory competencies. Perform automatically calculates the overall score using the rating for each competency. After viewing the overall rating, we can see whether every section has a green check or a red circle. If you want to make changes to your rating, now is the time to do so. If you feel you are done, you can complete this step by clicking Submit Evaluation on the top right corner of your screen. After this, you will see two messages. The first will indicate that you are almost done and will ask you to verify that you want to continue with submitting the evaluation. The second message will be an acknowledgement that you are submitting your rating. This completes the rating step.